get in my bag. I had to get in my bag.
Yeah, what's good, everybody, and happy Monday. I know you're like, man, yeah, all right. Happy Monday, man. It's the start of the week. You know, you can start off fresh. I know everybody hate Mondays. It's sunny today. I'm thankful that it's not raining over here because that Monday and the rain that does not mix together, man. But you already know what it is. This is another segment of Ray's podcast, and this one is going to be short and simple, real short and simple, because my main focus is really going to be on the NCAA championship game tonight. Crazy. But I got my poll going on. You know how it is. My poll on my Instagram, my poll on my Twitter page as well. Why are you not following my pages? It's at Ray's Podcast. It's the same thing like always, at Ray's Podcast. And while you're here, like this video below and subscribe to my channel so you can get all feedback every single time something new is posted 24/7. Never miss nothing. And you can go watch my old videos as well, man. But we're going to start it off early. What it is and what it ain't. If you don't like what I got to say, join the debate. Now. In the start of this NCAA tournament challenge, you know, the bracket, I was looking real good. Obviously, nobody did not have a perfect bracket. I mean, a couple people did, but as it gets closer and closer to the championship, it gets harder and harder. And that's exactly what happened with me. I started off fresh. I was almost like 100%. My Final Four was looking real good. Then everything started to switch up going into the Elite Eight. And I guess I had a hangover of losing from that because that's the same thing that happened in the Final Four. The two teams I picked to win in the Final Four. The last game I got right was the Michigan State versus Duke game. And that was probably the most upset bracket. The most upset pick for the whole tournament challenge. The whole thing. 0.5 people in this world, 0.5%, 0.5 had Texas Tech going to the national championship game. And that's what's going on right now. The Red Raiders are trying to win their first ever national championship. But hold on now, they're not the only one because it's the University of Virginia, ACC, crazy, right? And there's some story behind them as well. A lot of story behind Virginia, a lot of story behind Texas Tech. You know, they got some transfers coming in that helped them out a lot. You know, I was talking about the whole year that they really can't score, and they've been doing it. I thought their luck was going to run out, but they've been smashing teams, and it really started off to put them on notice when they beat Michigan. When they smacked Michigan, that's when everybody was like, okay, maybe this team could be for real. And then they beat Gonzaga, who I told you that they was the team to beat. Now, I did have Carolina, but I told you watch out for Gonzaga, and they took out Gonzaga. So I'm like, okay, Texas Tech took out Michigan. I picked that. They took out Gonzaga. Okay, that's crazy right there. Okay, you caught my attention now. You beat Gonzaga. You caught my attention. Now, I told you in my last segment that I thought Michigan State versus Auburn, and I stood by that. But the Michigan State and Texas Tech game, I wasn't really that much confident on that. And if you saw in episode 8, I told you, I said that one is a hard game. But I was pretty sure of the UVA versus Auburn. Pretty sure on that. 100% sure in that game. But we all saw what happened. So let's first talk about, I want to really talk about Texas Tech versus Michigan State. I'm going to get that game out the way first. And then we're going to talk about the UVA and Auburn, because that one has a lot going on. A lot behind it, because, you know, everybody's talking about the ending of the game and the referees. So we're going to get on to that, though. But ride with me, though. I'm going to give you my pick, though, too, who I think going to win it all. I'm going to give you my pick, too, as well. But, you know, Michigan State started off this year, you know, slow. They started off slow in the beginning of the year. They lost to Kansas by 5, you know. But as it went on, they got better. You know, they have veterans as well. And they end up winning their conference. And they shared the outright of the regular season with Purdue. So we saw things with Michigan State. I felt like they were the team to beat Duke. They was in the same side of them, and that's what happened. They beat Duke, but now they went up against Texas Tech, which is a questionable team because, you know, Texas Tech played up against Duke in the regular season, and they should have beat Duke, and that was a tough game. But towards the end, you know, Duke figured out a way, and it was turnovers from Texas Tech guards, and Duke won that game. So Texas Tech has been showing people all year that they have been consistent, that they can do this, and they are one of the top the best defense in college basketball today. So I wasn't really mad at the fact that Texas Tech beat Michigan State. I wasn't mad at that. It came down towards the end. Matt Mooney, who's a transfer from South Dakota, he was averaging 18 both years, his sophomore and his junior year at South Dakota. I think he first started off in Air Force. Yeah, Air Force maybe his freshman year, or the Navy. One of those schools he started off right there. I think it was the Air Force though, but he was a transfer. He was a big time scorer for Texas Tech against Michigan State because Jared Culver didn't even really have his best performances. He didn't. He was shot terrible. He couldn't never get in the rhythm. It was tough defense, and he's the main player, the main focus, and all eyes was on him, and it was to shut him down. That's what it is. If you can shut him down, I guess if any coach is going into the game, you can shut him down from not scoring because he's a lottery pick and he's a great basketball player, and you could take him, then you can easily take Texas Tech out the game and you can beat them. But Matt Mooney had other plans. Knocked down King. Boy, that boy was hitting threes. He was shining out there, and he looked like he was back at South Dakota when he was averaging 18 points. He was a scorer, and he's been doing it all year, too. He's been a big-time ball player for them, but in the bright lights, in the Final Four, where all eyes is on you, and you show up like that, that's tough, man. That is really, really tough. And it's your last year. You're not trying to lose. You're trying to play your heart out because you want to get that ring. You want to get that championship ring, man. You want to get it. And not too many people can get a championship ring. I'm glad that I was able to get one, which was a regular season. But, it's a great feeling. It is a great feeling. And even if you don't get a championship ring, just of having the pleasure to play college sports, you should be grateful for that because not too many people can get to that level. But it's his senior year, and he's trying to go out with a bang. And that's what he did. And they ended up beating Michigan State. Now, somebody in Vegas placed a bet, 1,500. It was 200 to 1 odds for Texas Tech to win it all. And that 1,500 ticket would pay out $300,000. $300,000 if they win tonight. If Texas Tech win tonight, that person is going to win that cash just for $1,500. That's solid. But they going up against a tough team, an ACC team, a team that has a lot to prove just because they was the laughingstock last year. They lost to a 16 seed, and that's rolling over to the Auburn versus Virginia game. And we all know Auburn didn't lose to a 16 seed team. So if you was wondering, I'm talking about Virginia. It's a lot of storyline behind them. A lot of storyline behind them. And they are motivated, and they done squeaked out of a lot of games. A lot. The Oregon game. The Purdue game, really. The Oregon game, okay, the wide open layup, cool, that's basketball. Things happen. But that Purdue game, they was really supposed to lose that Purdue game, and we could talk about the same thing right here with this Auburn game. Now, Auburn looked like they was in control the whole game. Leading up at the half, towards the end, it looked like Auburn had it in the bag. Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch the game live because I was at the Dreamville Festival. Shout out to J. Cole, which was a great concert. Big Sean was there, 21 Savage, he brung out Meek Mill. It was a great concert. I had to go back and I had to watch the game. I had to watch the game. I like to watch the games. I like to know what happened. And I'm just going to talk about the main factor in this game. Like I said, Auburn was in control for the whole time that it came down to the wire where the referees missed the double dribble. They missed the double dribble. Now, I hate that, everybody says, like, that's the reason why Auburn lost, and it's tough. It's tough. Auburn, people saying Auburn was really supposed to win. They were supposed to beat Virginia, but the referees missed the double dribble, and then the play went on, and then the next play or whatever that went down, Cal guy got fouled, but it really wasn't a foul. Slow down. Now, the double dribble, you're correct on that. It was a double dribble. The referees missed that call. Now, that was a foul. That was the correct call. Cal guy got fouled. What the Auburn players went up like this, doing the choke gesture. the same thing that Reggie Miller did, and it didn't work out in his favor like how it worked out for Reggie Miller in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the game, the same player that was doing this was sitting on the ground on his butt, looking like this sad. And March Madness, it hits you fast. It hits you fast, and it's March Madness. So the referees did miss that call, but like Bruce Pearl said, get over it. Get over it. And that's the only thing that you can do now. Get over it. There was still other plays in the game that could have determined the factor for you winning. Okay, that was a main one, but what about the plays before that when, they hit a layup or when they hit a tough jump shot or when you missed a free throw or when you missed a rebound? Like, there's a lot that can go into play of why you lost. But of course, everybody's going to put their main factor and put their whole, energy into that one play that was a double dribble, because if it's a double dribble, then, Auburn gets the ball, then it's the foul game, then it's game over. Of course. But it didn't work out that way. It didn't. Now, I told you that Auburn, now let's talk about it. I told you that Auburn was better than Virginia. I did. And I believe Auburn was going to get to the championship. I said whoever won between the Carolina or the Auburn game, that's going to the championship. And I stood by that, and I was 100% confident on that. Auburn lost. They should have won, but they lost. It woulda, coulda, shoulda. They lost. Yes, they did. So, with that being said, since Virginia squeaked out and got by Auburn, they took out the hottest team that beat, who was a favorable team, another one, which was Carolina. That leads me into my picks. So, everybody been asking me all day who I got Texas Tech, who I got, Auburn, not Auburn, I'm sorry, still sticking on Auburn, either Texas Tech or Virginia. Now, when I woke up this morning, right? No, I ain't even going to talk about this morning. I'm going to say last night. Last night, I already had my pick. I was like, I'm going to go with Texas Tech. I said that, right? I woke up this morning. I started thinking, I'm like, you can't really just put all your energy to Texas Tech just because they had the hardest road, as you can say. But you really can't say that, though, because they've been smacking teams. They've been smacking teams. And their only close game into this tournament, with their backs against the wall, was up against Michigan State. You could say the Gonzaga game too, but they was in control of that. They was in control of that game. They was in control of the Michigan game. I'm not even talking about any games before that for Texas Tech, because they got Buffalo up out of here. For real, they got Buffalo up out of here. Virginia, on the other hand, Oregon, Purdue, and Auburn. They should have lost 2 of those games. I'm going to say 3. They should have lost 2 of those games against tough teams. And really, the game was really looking to be over against the Purdue game, and the game was looking to be over the Auburn game. Had to think about my pick. Had to think about what I was going to do, so it leads me here to what I'm going to say. I am going to pick for the national championship game tonight at 9. I'm going with the ACC, boys. I'm taking the University of Virginia. I was talking mad junk about him. My man Steve is a Virginia fan. That's the only VA fan that I truly know. I was talking about him all year, and I hope they don't let me down tonight. I hope they don't let me down tonight. I'm going with the Cavaliers, and not my Cavs, but I'm going with Virginia. It's a storyline behind them. It is. It's a major storyline behind them. They lost to a 16 seed. There was a laughing stock. Everybody was embarrassed. They said Cal Guy was going through depression at one point because everybody was going at him on Twitter, and talking about him all around everywhere that and he's locked in. He's been locked in. I talk about Cal Guy so much. He was so much inconsistent throughout the whole tournament. But against the the Purdue game, he showed up. Even though they lost, they didn't lose. Even though they was about to lose, he hit some big threes and some key threes. And then, Cal Guy was the man to hit the three free throws to get them over the hump to beat Auburn with 0.3 left on the clock. So I'm going with the ACC team. I'm not going to bet against the ACC team. Oh, man, since we're talking about betting, a lot of people have been taking my picks now. Whatever you do, I told you, I'm not perfect. I'm not. Nobody in this world is perfect. But I am right more times than I am wrong. Now, these past 2, I said I picked Michigan State and I picked Auburn. And I had Gonzaga, in the Final Four, and I had Carolina in there. Since the Elite Eight, I was wrong. What you gonna do? You gonna ride with your boy? You gonna ride with me by taking Virginia? Or you gonna bet against me and take Texas Tech? Who's gonna get their national championship title tonight? Their first one. Who's gonna do it? Who you got? And go on my Twitter. I have a poll right now. We got a lot of votes going on right now. A lot of people going back and forth picking on. I got Virginia, and that's who I'm sticking with. The storyline on them. They come back, from the devastated event that happened to them last year against the number 16 seed. They're going to come back and they do the thing. I have a change of heart. I'm going with UVA. That's my pick. I'm putting it on the line. This is a public pick. I'm going to take UVA. All my public picks that I've been put out, that really promoted it, I've been right. Will tonight be the first time I be wrong? Or will this train keep rolling and your boy continue to be right? I got Virginia over Texas Tech tonight. Cap it off, take it to the bank, whatever you want to do. Copy, how you want to do what it is, and that's how it is on that. But I'm going to roll over to NBA real quick. I'm not going to really spend too much on NBA because this is the NCAA day. This is the championship day. Other than baseball, there's no NBA games. You know what I'm saying? There's no NBA games. So I'm going to really talk about, my main thing was on the NCAA today. But since we talk, smooth real quick, the Magic, yeah, I know. I didn't believe in the Magic. The Magic have clinched the playoffs. The Nets. I said something about the Nets in the beginning of the year too. They have clinched the playoffs. Everything is really, wrapped up. It's really wrapped up. Except for one spot. The 8th seed in the East. Shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks to be the only team to have 60 wins this year, though. That helps out Giannis' case to probably be MVP. But the 8th seed. The 8th seed, right? It's out of Miami, the Pistons, and the Hornets, right? I want Miami. Just to see D Wade go out with a bang. That's what I want. I want Miami. I want Miami to go out with a bang. I want Dwayne Wade to at least get into the playoffs for his last season. But if we're going to rank the remaining games in the schedule, which is only 2 games, it's not looking good for them. The percentage is not looking good for them to make it. And the Hornets, I told you that the Hornets would beat the Raptors. And I said, if they beat the Raptors, they was coming for Detroit. And that's exactly what they did yesterday. They beat the Pistons 2. Kimba and them boys, Lamb, Gilchrist, D-Tay, Bridges, Dwayne Bacon, all of them. Them boys, Cody, Marvin, I'm just naming them. I'm naming them. Them boys, the Hornets, don't want to go nowhere. The Hornets want to make it to the playoffs, and I hope they do because they right here. I can easily go to a game. The playoffs start this weekend. But ranking number 1, out of the 3 teams, I'm going to rank who has the best chance to make it to the playoffs out of the 3 teams. Number 1 is the Pistons. They have to play the Grizzlies and they have to play the Knicks. 2 terrible teams. That's not having a good year this year. The only hope is if the Grizzlies beat them. I don't think the Knicks are going to beat the Pistons. So the Grizzlies will have to defeat the Pistons to make things happen. Number 2, the Hornets. They got to play my Cavs in Cleveland. They'll get them up out of there. They will win that game. But then, I think it's the Brooklyn. Yeah, then they'll have to play Brooklyn. Tough game. Copy, tough game. They'll beat the Cavs, if the Grizzlies beat the Pistons, they'll be motivated. They'll beat Brooklyn. But the Grizzlies gotta beat the Pistons first. Gotta beat the Pistons. Third, I only picked the Heat just because of Wade, it's last year. But sometimes doing that is not the smart thing to do. It's not the smart thing to do, but your boy Ray don't switch up on anything. I don't switch up on nothing. I had to switch up on the national championship game because the teams that I picked lost, so there's only one team. Out of the two, there's only one team I can pick. So if you're going to count me switching on that, I guess so. I guess so. But Miami has to play the Sixers. Tough. Gotta play the Sixers. Better hope they sit Embiid or something like that. Better hope Embiid and Jimmy don't play. Because if they all there, copy, it's over. It's over. And I said Wade was going to have to step up, right? I told you Wade was going to have to step up against the Timberwolves because Josh Richardson went out. And that's what Wade did. Wade had 20 in the first half. But they lost. They lost that night. They lost. And then speaking of winning, the Orlando Magic beat the Celtics yesterday to clinch. Tough. That's tough. That's super duper tough. To celebrate against Boston, you go into Boston and beat Boston to clinch. You deserve to make it to the playoffs. For real. But after Miami, let me make sure I'm right on this. I think they play Brooklyn. After Miami plays against the Sixers. But they home though. They got to play the Nets in Brooklyn. Tough. Copy. They got to play Brooklyn. Copy. Copy. For real. That is tough. So the best, the Pistons, as of right now, if we're ranking, the Pistons is number one to make it to the playoffs. And then right behind them would be the Hornets. And then the least, is Miami. But if the Pistons lose to the Grizzlies, I think the Hornets going to get in that thing. If it's a tiebreaker or something like that. Because, the Hornets just beat the Pistons too. The Hornets going to beat the Cavs. There ain't no problem with that. They might smack. They might blow us out. It's all about the Grizzlies. What can Mike Conley, Wright, Noah, what can they do? What can they do? But the Warriors have clinched first in the West. They got it. Now Denver. Let's talk about Denver. They lost to the Trailblazers because they sat out Murray, Jokic, and Millsap yesterday. They lost to the Trailblazers. They're only, up, 0.5 or one game above the Rockets, right? Coming up, the 0.5. They got to play the Jazz. Then we got to play the Jazz and who else? Who else they got to play? I know the Jazz, and they got to play the Timberwolves. They got to go to Utah. Denver don't want no problems with OKC. Because that's who the Rockets got to play. They got to play OKC. And they'll beat them because James Harden's really trying to get that MVP and he's trying to get as high as he can go. They don't want no problems, OKC. So will Denver lose? Will they lose to Utah to get the third seed? I don't know. It's tough on that because even though everything is settled in the playoffs other than the East and the 8th seed, these last couple of games, it can determine where the seeds are for certain teams. Obviously, the Warriors are straight. The Bucks are straight. We already know it's already sealed that the Pacers is playing Boston. Boston going to beat them. They're going to win that. Take that. That's easy. Slight. But, yeah. Anything can happen. So teams are going to be playing for real unless they sit some players out. We will see, man. You know, I appreciate you watching this. You know, it's real short, real sweet. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be right back. We're going to be right back. Will UVA get it done tonight? Will they be happy? The relief? Just because, you know, they lost last year to the 16th seed? Find out. You know, we'll find out tonight. But what it is and what it ain't. If you don't like what I got to say, then join the debate. Copy.